Question is, how will the crypto work?
There should be some crypto will work by interactions with the secondary marketplace. So you come in, purchase a secondary listing of someone that wants to break even for their parity cost and revenue for each kilowatt hour that's produced with your solar system that's sent back into the grid. And that's kind of where we're going to start focus, which is what the financial engineering piece is about. But then, whenever that crypto is kept on the platform and not exchanged for cash, you can earn a percentage on it through staking. And that means that it increases over time just by leaving it on the platform. Also, be able to use the crypto to take specific actions like listing on the secondary marketplace. Would you'd need to spend some crypto to do that, and then finding like people that would subscribe, so cover each month to the point where your system is paid off. So then that subscription piece would involve spending and receiving crypto. Future expansion into different types of crypto for different purposes, because we're just targeting the net metering piece now to value kilowatt hours produced into the grid. But what about the valuing of the kilowatt hours produced and used by your home? That should be worth something too. Two main ones are kilowatt hours produced and used by the home, kilowatt hours produced and sent into the grid. So there should be two different valuations on those. Because how you value it is different than how the utility values it. And that should go into the valuation of how we perceive a clean environment. So it's kind of this defining factor. But then also, what if we have a storage mechanism, a battery also? So then we can say, okay, so now we have the solar and wind power. I mean, solar power coming into the house, being used, solar power going into the grid and being used, and then solar power going into your storage unit to be used later. So we should create another piece that should reflect the value of stored energy. So solar produced, used by the home, used by the grid, and stored. Kind of build on top of that to where we're creating these different cryptos that have different valuations that go into the defining of the value of the clean environment, which means we're going to reward each person per kilowatt hour produced. And then anytime someone wants to convert their crypto into cash to pay down their system, that crypto is burned. So it's a temporary control mechanism for the theoretical infinite inflation, since these cryptos will be produced as people purchase these kilowatt hours. Each listing will be different. So 7 cents per kilowatt hour. It could be the full, like some states don't require the utilities to pay anything. So it would be that full retail cost, which could be 25 cents per kilowatt hour. And then someone would purchase that to make it even, but then they'd be able to participate in the ecosystem, which would be an ever expanding evolution of valuing the different uses and states of energy produced by solar. And then if you think of it, word of mouth, advertising, marketing, whatever, we start to see people paying off their systems quicker, which would, kind of make it more attractive for new people to enter in. Because it's like, yes, you can start with our platform as you sign up for solar. So you don't already need to be with solar. It just helps you if you are, because there's already data and you can receive crypto and such and whatnot. So there's room for an ever expanding valuation model here. And then we can even take it into the value of solar that goes into an electric vehicle. So transportation value. And then we can create a crypto for solar into transportation, and then a separate crypto in the transportation piece, which is, reward per mile driven. And we can create a mechanism for that to help people pay off their cars and systems and batteries faster, just by participating in the system. And then create a receptacle for people to enter their data in. So if they have solar, battery, and an EV, their system will keep track of all the data of how much of that energy is going to each place: grid, home, battery, car. And then plug that data into our system and then reward them crypto based on that data each installment. So it should be monthly data, or you could do it daily if you're active in your mind like that. But then you can receive crypto that way too. So it's not just purchasing and staking, but the platform would purchase your data, and then you can keep that crypto on the platform, and it would stake automatically. So there's this ever evolving mechanism to reward people based on APIs to their systems, data plugins for digital updates on all the data. That's the beginning piece, is helping people pay their systems off quicker and getting more people to get systems and then accelerate their payoff periods by engaging with our system. But the value comes in because originally it's going to be backed by our perceived value of a clean environment. And then we start to create a mechanism where we can start participating in the build out of solar, wind, and batteries, and bring that revenue back into the value of the crypto for people. So the value of the crypto would go up, and it would be backed by produced electricity that's stored and used in places around the world. So each place would have a different value for each kilowatt hour because of their, the way they built their system out. But our goal would be to have enough revenue to pay off the system, solar, wind, and battery system, maintenance on the system, the next round of system and maintenance on that system, and then do a graduated step down to where we're giving control back over to the local jurisdiction, but we're eliminating the costs associated with it. So that local jurisdiction will have the option to say, we want to take control and charge a price so we can generate revenue for us, or we want to keep it the way it is, make it free, and have it be a right for our people, and then we'll build on top of that. So there's choice for people when they have a mechanism which pays for the build out of solar, wind, and batteries, maintenance the next system, and perpetuates it, into the future, and then eliminates the costs associated with it. So we stop taking revenue from it at a certain point, and it should be a step down, either half a year or a quarter of a year. So you'd regain control of that option to charge or make it free within 2 years of it paying off the second system's maintenance. So there would just be a built-in exchange on the site. So specifically to convert our crypto into cash. So we'd have there would be money license required for that kind of thing. So there's a lot of regulatory pieces there, but we could do that ourselves, or teach people how to use an exchange and just use the regular exchanges, but I'd rather have it on the site so they can just click a button and convert it. Not necessarily, because there's always the fringe where innovation is taking place, where they're bringing in crowds from the fringe. So participating in the platform, yes, but then also bringing people into the platform will also bring a benefit. We can create a solid tokenomics ecosystem without interacting with the current system. Be able to interact with the current platform for now, but I assume that there would be competition in this market after it's, revealed, and that there could be a hub where all of these things connect together and you can stack them and receive benefit from each one, which is kind of what we want. Competition is good, then stack it on top of each other, because philanthropy will play a role, and an increasing one, where people do put money into the system knowing that it's being used for specific purposes. Like, we can create our own marketplace where people can buy extra panels that are installed, or buy a battery and have it installed with the crypto. So there's a lot of things that we can facilitate by plugging in local contractors to our platform. And then also, a lot of states have it to where they're not paying for net metering, but you can accumulate kilowatt hour credits over time and then have unlimited rollover. There should be a value of that size of that bank too, and philanthropists can buy up that bunch, that kind of stuff. So it'd be like a land bank discount sale kind of thing. But then there's this identification of unused value within the current system that can be absorbed by philanthropy, which increases the value of crypto.
Did you just say I could sell my credits to somebody who wants to support this system?
That's right, but your credits would stay on your bill. It's just the perceived value of those credits into the whole. So they don't receive those credits, which they can then use yet.
But I think I'm trying to make this bridge where my credits would transfer to this individual and it would dissolve out of my account.
Yeah, that won't happen yet. That'll be in the future. But for now, they'll stay in your account and you'll still receive money for them.
Okay.
But then that's what I'm saying. As soon as the value is defined, so as soon as the volatility of the crypto ceases to do the gyrations, then it's like we will know the value, the average value combined, so we can purchase up these kilowatt hour credits that have been accumulating for years at people's homes and businesses, which would then, help us realize the fullness of what we've already started to create. But then so then taking it to the next level, we're actually participating in the build out of solar, wind, and batteries. This is a millions of dollar endeavor, which would result in revenues coming in that would pay off systems, perpetuate into the future, and increase the value of the crypto. So that's kind of, then we're backed by actual electricity and use of electricity and stored electricity, which is where we want to make the argument that we can convert fiat currencies into electricity across the globe. And then everything would be priced in kilowatt hours, that kind of argument, the same argument Bitcoin's making. So we can really do that. And we can converge Bitcoin and electricity so that we can lock in the value so it's not exposed to people who would do wrongdoing. So there's a lot of ways to expand this, but we're creating a market from the perceived value that isn't realized because of policy right now. So this is a subsidy that's coming through an open source decentralized network, which is not a business, it's not a government, it's not a nonprofit, it's not religion, and it's not charity. So this is something that this is a new player on the block, and we need to realize that. What do we do? How do we get people to participate? We show data. Like if you were able to receive the full amount of every single kilowatt hour produced, you should be paying off your system at this rate. And then when you get to the point where you're at break even at paying your system off, so you don't owe any more on your solar contract, this stream is still going to come in because you're still producing. So you're not only getting free energy, but you're getting crypto for still participating. So you're an early adopter moving in to the mass adoption realm. You should benefit from that. So we create this mechanism by creating a decentralized platform that can fill in the gaps that our current system can't, because it's all focused on a government budget. So if we take the focus away from that budget and say, let's create a value for this perceived decrease that we're receiving because of your policies, then I'll pay off my system quicker and create a revenue stream. Because now not only am I not paying an electric bill, I'm creating a revenue stream. So you add that electric bill cost into your available budget, and then the revenue stream into your available budget. So this is a win-win-win for participants, the ecosystem, and the environment. Let's build out the arguments that we're starting on a perceived value of clean environment, and then build out a network to where we can participate in the build out of solar, wind, and batteries, and back our entire system by revenues generated by electricity. and then build the argument to convert fiats into electricity and convert prices into kilowatt hours. So, or watts, and then by demonstrating this experiment to the decentralized community, people can start to create values for where our system is failing by our perceived value of what it's worth to us. And then we can fill in those gaps ourselves. So it's like, technically it's like you're choosing where your taxes would go, but we don't have that option because participatory budgeting is new and it's limited right now, but it's great. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, I want to put money here, but that's not the way government works. They take your money and then distribute it amongst all their programs. So we're taking that option back, and then we're creating these decentralized platforms where we take control of the tokenomics, the economics of that entire ecosystem, and make it to where it's benefiting people over time above and beyond where a government budget can take it. Let's conclude with that, and then we'll build